Hello and welcome to episode 10 of PR in a Car with me, Rich Lee of Radioactive PR and the Radioactive Group. I'm going to talk about what everybody's talking about, coronavirus. I'm going to go straight in with it. I'm going to try to avoid all the tropes, this is a weird time to live in, this is, aren't these strange and interesting times. Just going to talk about how it's actually impacting us as an agency, how it's impacting the broader industry, things we can do to support each other, resources that are available to us as a community, I guess, and business people and employees, and just, talk through the experience of it. Because I imagine that many of you will have or be having similar experiences to what we're having at Radioactive. So, last week was a difficult one for us as a company. We lost a good chunk of business, a not insignificant chunk of business in travel, events, and all understandably so. Clients going on pauses, contracts effectively being not danced all over, but clients rightly and understandably saying, and actual words from one client was, it's a bloodbath, our sales are a bloodbath. So what am I going to do? Am I going to chase a client that we've got a great relationship with through court for not being able to stick to notice? It's tough. What does that mean? For us as an agency, we're quite fortunate in that our remote working has been seamless on account of the 4-day week that we have had for getting on for 2 years now. So all the technology that we need to work remotely, from home, it works nicely. It's all cloud-based. It's all messenger-orientated. We've got voicemails. If somebody's trying to call the office, it comes through to my email, and all that jazz. So from a processes perspective, it's fine. We're working okay. From a business perspective, as I said, things are interesting in that we are picking up project clients, some crisis briefs. We're splitting our collective skill sets into individual things that we can, switch on if necessary. If it's business, things like content creation, things like copywriting. As I said previously, crisis management. That's something that's happens for a handful of our clients. We've got clients that can support people during this time, and they're kind of providing public service announcement type commentary, and journalists are asking for stories other than coronavirus, as you can imagine. As one Daily Star journalist put it, you can't fill a whole paper with coronavirus stories. So they've asked us as a collective unit, I guess, the PR industry to help with that. And what we then did at Radioactive is we put together a blog, kind of collating all of the journalists that we've seen in various different places, asking specifically for stories that are non-Covid-19 orientated. So if you go to radioactivepr.com/coronavirus, you'll see that and a handful of other resources. Nina Sowetz of Future has put together a couple of Slack groups, one for PR agency owners, one for people in the industry, so everybody at every level. That's in there too, and there are a handful of other resources at this time. So fingers crossed they are of use to you. Broader then, I saw a not especially scientific survey on Twitter the other day asking sole traders, asking freelancers how they'd been impacted. And bear in mind, this was, I want to say Wednesday or Thursday last week, Thursday possibly. And 50%, or just shy of half of people, said they'd lost 100% of their work, which is devastating. As I said, it's not the most stringent of surveys to do a Twitter poll. Obviously, it's very self-selecting. So, as I understand it, my friend Josh at Opinion, Josh Glendenning, they're putting together a more robust look at how businesses are doing and how sole traders in particular are doing. That's going to be interesting to see, impact on sales and things like that. I know Steve Waddington and Sarah Hall, or Sarah Waddington, sorry, through Futureproof, their Futureproof project. If you haven't seen Futureproof before, go to, I think it is futureproof.com, or just Google Futureproof and you'll see, Futureproof PR, you'll see kind of loads that they've done around this project. And they've put a survey out as well, specifically to PR people, so looking forward to, is absolutely the wrong word there. Will be good to see the results there, to see how we've all been impacted. But anecdotally, I know one big agency, or I've heard of one big agency that's lost 60% of its revenue. Now, I actually recorded one of these episodes last week, Friday I think it was. There were a couple of mic issues, so I decided not to put that one out. So this is kind of a redo. This is a part 2. And things changed even since that. I think the announcement on Friday about the government support for businesses, the offsetting of VAT, which is a weird one for me because I always see VAT and corporation tax as something that's not mine anyway. So we always kind of squirrel that away in another account. So to offset it seems like just delaying the inevitable, but I hope it helps some people. I'm certainly not a very bright economic mind. I'm sure there are reasons behind that. And the 80% salary support from businesses, from the government for businesses, is massive. And when I did this last week, I guess I was a little bit more uncertain as to how this would impact my business, and I had to put together scenarios. If we get down to X pounds monthly revenue, what does it look like? And then further stages. And I hated doing that, but I guess my job is to lead and to ensure that I'm doing the best by the team and the best by the business. And if that is looking at staffing, if that is looking at cost cutting for suppliers and things like that, then that is the best for the business. So I spent some time doing that, and then obviously the government announcement about 80% up to £2,500 a week in the UK. Not a week, bloody hell, not quite. £2,500 a month per employee is massively appreciated. Obviously there are some eligibility concerns or considerations, I should say, and obviously that's massive for both me and millions of other business owners. The potential for us to kind of keep things ticking over with, I think, as I understand that your employees need to be furloughed, which means that they're not working, and then there's going to be some way to tell HMRC about this. So that there is a fantastic initiative that, when I recorded this last time, wasn't in place, and I think that will save a lot of people's businesses and a lot of people's livelihoods. It's just such an uncertain time that I didn't say weird, I didn't say anything like that. Uncertain is true. It is an uncertain time, and all we can do is be positive and push through. This is not the time to be I guess using it as a springboard to promote yourselves. So if you've got anybody in your business that's saying, how do we best use coronavirus or COVID-19 to get ourselves out there, give them a quick slap. I have seen across Facebook and Instagram a handful of businesses with paid social still in play that probably could do with turning it off. Travel companies, events companies, as I said, promotion for certain events that are unlikely to be happening, and that is just likely to be the fact that somebody's forgotten to pause it. So maybe I can save you a little bit of money now by saying, go and have a look, and if it's obviously performing badly, and oh Christ, completely forgot that was on, because you drip feed a tiny bit of budget into it maybe, then make sure you're turning that off. But fundamentally, we are impacted, the industry is impacted. It's just to what extent. If you're in a position to help anybody, please do. If it means taking something to somebody, if it means just supporting a business owner, there are fantastic resources. As I said, go to radioactivepr.com/coronavirus. For communities, even if you've got any questions, if you're a freelancer listening to this and you think, God, I could actually do with talking to some other freelancers, there's a Facebook page that's been going for a good while now, and that's fantastic, and good community of support there. Said the Slack groups, whether or not talking helps for you, it's there. And just be kind, I guess. I don't mean that to sound patronising. I don't want to be one of those #BeKind people, but if there's one thing we know at the minute, is that we don't need people being dicks. So I hope you are well and healthy as can be, and we get through this weird social distancing and social isolation. I'm actually taking some stuff to a family member now. Be leaving it by the door. I'm sure that there's going to be a kind of an uptick in a few months' time. I guess the weird thing is just not knowing what the next 3 months, 6 months look like. And I can imagine that all we're going to see is a Q2 that is basically written off for most businesses at the very minimum. So, not the most positive PR in a car episode, but I'm trying to be realistic and direct in my communication with the team, and just, as I said, supportive of the industry, of individuals in it. I've had some people message me asking for thoughts around certain topics. If you're a business and you just need the ear of somebody that can potentially help you communicating internally to your staff, or externally to customers or potential new customers, I'm not going to charge for 5 minutes of my time. So feel free to message, DM me. They're open at Rich Lee PR, LEIGH. Email me, rich@radioactivepr.com. Or just if you fancy having a chin mic, just get in touch. And obviously, if there's bigger support that we as a company can offer you, then we'd love to. I've never used this thing before as a platform to sell, and I don't intend to do that. I don't mean for this to be some sort of weird pitch. It's not. It's just, if you're in a position where we could support you, and it's much needed, then why not get in touch? But otherwise, stay safe. I'm sure I'll do another one of these soon. It's actually been way too long. When I did episode 9, talking about digital PR, worth a look if you haven't already, worth a listen. Then when I did that was 3 weeks ago. The world looked very different. Anyway, subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. I will speak to you all soon. Goodbye.